So, hello everyone, welcome you all to the next episode of Become a Superhero podcast series. And today we have with us Warun Mehta, so the top one super speaker in the India's first reality show conducted by Success Gyan. So let's all say hi to Varun, right? We have a beautiful guest with us today, Varun. So hi Varun.
Hey guys.
Amazing, amazing, Varun. Welcome to the show. So, if I have to introduce Varun a little bit, right? So, for the first time when I met Varun, like right now, I felt that energy. But I want to share a little bit about what he does, right? So, he's the winner of Super Speaker Season 1, and he's a peak health expert, right? He's a certified nutritionist and a fitness trainer. And he's been working with people one on one for over a decade, helping them achieve their health goals, whether it could be healing from chronic ailments, losing weight, getting fitter, or looking better, right? So all of these various things, feeling years younger, right? So that's something really beautiful. His vast experience comes with working with people from around the world, right? Where he has given them deep insights into what it takes for somebody to achieve his peak health. And when we went through Super Speaker, I know there was a very beautiful story behind that, why this journey started. And in the last few years, he has been doing live boot camps, challenges for a more immersive and transformative experience. No matter where you are in your health journey, whether you are healing, maintaining, transforming your body, he is the guy who will help you shorten that learning curve, right? And he says this one very important thing that I love. I help people reverse their age and elevate their health, fitness, and longevity without trendy diets and painful workouts, right? So I'm sure when you heard this statement, you all might be feeling, okay, what is it that I can do and I can learn from Varun? We'll be hearing that out shortly as we go forward into this journey and into this podcast. So, Varun, really a pleasure to have you on the show. I think, like, as I shared earlier as well, it's like a wow feeling to be able to interview you and hear out your story, learn more from you. So, welcome to the show once again, Varun.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks for having me, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes, fantastic, Varun. So let's get started with this journey and podcast. So, what incident or situation made you take that decision? Like you said, today you're a peak health expert. So, what incident in your life made you feel like this is exactly what I got to do and what I got to help people with? Like, what incident was that one?
Okay. So, Jason, I was always a very sick child, so a sick child, a sick teen. And when you are sick all the time, so you tend to be slower, you can't keep up with the peers. So on the playground, you'll be slower as well. You won't be able to react as quickly to things. You'll be missing out on a lot of classes, so you'll be behind as well. So as a result, you have a different side of different story of bullying. So as a result, even I was bullied, and I was always self-conscious, and I was put down all the time. So that's just one aspect of it. The other was, of course, that as I grew up, yes, there was slightly, I started getting some robust health because I was absolutely obsessed with health, with fitness. I used to read every magazine, every book, try out every fad diet, every workout that I could. However, having said that, obviously I was not doing everything right because, the real turning point came in about 12 years ago when I woke up one morning and it was I just felt excruciating pain, and I was so dizzy and I passed out in a while. When I woke up in a hospital, I found out that I just had a stroke, and that I was diagnosed with as pre-diabetic, having PTSD, which is a mental disorder, IBD, which is inflammatory bowel disease, IBS. So it was like a whole mess out there, and it was very depressing because I thought I was taking care of my health, but that's where I was faced with the turning point in my life. Either I could resign myself to taking medication for the rest of my life, managing the symptoms, and hopefully, not ending up in a hospital and dying a premature death, or I could take charge of my health. And that's what I decided to do. So I looked at the medical curriculum, and and I understood that it's there to save lives, and those interventions are required at advanced stages of chronic illnesses and problems. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted to get to the root of the problem, the heart of the problem, and extract it out from that, and just kill it for once and for all. And I knew that anything I put in my body, any medication I put in my body, is gonna have a long-term impact. And I wasn't okay with that. So I went on a different path. And this is 12 years ago, Jason, when all the knowledge that we have today about nutrition, about lifestyle changes that we need to make, all of this about deep supplementation, that wasn't as prevalent. So I just went on my own journey. Wherever I heard there were healers, masters, I just went there and I surrendered to them. I remember I traveled to about 12 countries and I spent years doing this, and I borrowed a lot of money because I didn't have it, but this was I was it was a calling from the inside. And I every night when I went to bed, that's what I was dreaming about. That's what I was When I used to wake up, that's what I was thinking about. I was absolutely obsessed. I don't know if you've heard about this, something Tony Robbins called a magnificent obsession. It really became my magnificent obsession. And so whatever I took, I just went wherever I could. I took notes, and then gradually I started implementing that. Whatever I learned, I started implementing that on myself. And over time, Jason, the results astounded me. All the things that I mentioned to you, they started reversing. I started gaining a lot more energy. I got off medication. I didn't need to go to frequent visits to the hospital. And that is where, Jason, is when I asked myself, like, wow, if this is possible, if I can do this, or if there is information and knowledge there and healers and masters for this, then what else is possible? And that's when I understood that at any point in time, our bodies are in either of the three stages, which is healing, maintenance, or transformation, as you talked about before. And so once I moved into maintenance phase, is when I got obsessed with transformation, which is body transformation. I was 10 kilos overweight, so I really wanted a body that I could be proud of course, besides the peak health. And then I gradually started working on that. And again, once I started applying the principles I had learned, it was just mind blowing how I was able to lose that 10 kilos and I was able to have the body of my dreams. And then I started focusing on longevity, because that's when you can focus on longevity. And the amazing thing is, once you start getting into longevity and you learn principles of, rewinding your age, you will not look back. Jason, this year I turned 50. And I tell you something, I have never felt better. Have been the best shape of my life. I have the most energy. And, I'm looking forward to my next decades. And I think it's going to be even better. I recently checked my biological age, and it's coming down to 28. And that's what I want for the rest of my life.
Wow, that's amazing, Varun. Right? So, like, I totally understand when you shared your journey, because there are multiple times when even we go through these various health challenges, but like you took a very important lesson from it, and you said, "What more? Right? How can I grow more, and how can I solve this problem?" And once you did, you felt that there is a lot more possibility that could be created in this for a lot more people, and that's how your journey started. But I do have one question, Varun, because I've heard a lot of stories like this, like not exactly like this, but sometimes there comes a really health challenge, but many of them feel at that point that their life is going to get worse, or their life might just end up being in a much more horrible state than how it is right now. Like, what thought came into your mind, or like did somebody say something where you felt like, okay, I think my life has something more than this, or it has a bigger purpose than this? Like, what exactly? Because when somebody struggles to that hospital, they actually tend to quit on themselves, but you didn't. You felt like, okay, I want to solve this problem, even though it's in a complete mess. I want to get out and do more. So what was that thought exactly, man?
Great question, Jason. As I mentioned before, when I was 8, I almost died. I literally almost died. I recall lying on a slab of ice. There were three doctors by the side, and they were all shaking their head in resignation. They had almost given up. And when I looked around the room, there was my father, my mother, my siblings, and everyone was crying as if like, okay, you know what? This is a lost cause. Somehow I bounced back. I know it's my mother's prayers, but it's nothing short of a miracle. So I'm living my second life. But then when these things kept happening later on as well, when one chronic illness after another, the pain was too much. So that was a trigger. The pain was too much. And second was, universe. I mean, God's not going to come down and talk to you directly. The universe is trying to send you a message always. And this was just far too often for me not to listen. And it was just happening over and over and over and over and over. And I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe the universe is trying to communicate something. I better listen. So I just started listening. I just started listening to my body. I started listening to the call within, and I just followed that.
Got it. Fantastic, Varun. Right? You actually specifically shared about you going through an incident of bullying, right?
Yeah.
Which you shared in your childhood that happened. Like, how did that affect you, Varun? Because I know there are a lot of people today who will be watching this show as
Yeah.
well at some point who have gone through these incidents, but they turn out to be really silent, or they felt like really secluded. But how did that happen to you, and how did you take that as a possibility, or how did you convert yourself into speaking about it today? Because normally people do not open up about it. So I really want to learn that from you so that I could share that out back again with a lot more people.
It's so true, Jason. A lot of people don't. And even I didn't for a very long time because it shatters you from the inside, right? I
Right.
mean, it just lowers, completely shatters your self confidence. And you don't know, you don't face the world as other people do. You're always timid, shy, reserved. And that's what I was for a very long time. Um, I'd say lot many incidents. You know, sports helped. When I started playing a lot of sports, that helped gain confidence. When I started lifting weights, hitting the gym, that helped because physiology matters a lot. If you really are in good health and you focus on the physiology, it'll give you a lot more confidence. And then, of course, is when you start focusing on your real mission in life. Okay, when you start focusing on your real calling in life is when the universe will give you that confidence to speak out as well. So there was a number of factors, and I totally understand that anyone who's ever been bullied, you don't look at your friends the same way as well, because you're like, these are my friends, how can they do this thing to me? So no, I totally get that. I mean, look, I was put down on the sports field, I was put down otherwise as well, and I could totally get that, I could totally relate to it. But at the same time, if I can bounce back, if Jason can bounce back and share the story to the world, so can you. A bully can bully you just once, twice, maybe a couple of times. But if you stay in your mind and if you stay in your past, you'll be bullied for your life. As they say, a coward dies once. I'm sorry, it's the other way around. A coward dies many deaths. A coward dies every day for that matter, but a brave person dies once. So choose who you want to be.
Fantastic, Varun. Fantastic, right? And when you were sharing this, I actually got a thought in my mind, like when my mentor shared this, right? Like when we get a pain, like that pain is inevitable, right? But the suffering that we go through after it is our choice, right? We exaggerate that suffering to a level where we feel victimized, right? So I think that is really beautiful. What you shared is like either you can be that coward where you want to die multiple times, or be a great person and make a champion kind of choice, right? Fantastic, Varun. So moving on forward with your journey, right now you're currently a peak health expert. You're a fitness trainer. You're supporting a lot of people when it comes to health, right? A very, very important area of life today that most people normally neglect. And so, what are your five best practices, Varun, when you go through this journey?
In terms of my health and fitness,
Yes, in terms of health and fitness, what are your five? Like, how do you keep? Like you said, you're turning 50, but your biological age shows 28. So, what would you say are your five best practices daily?
wow. So one, always be hanging out with people younger than you. That's important because the mindset. Okay. Two, it's your self-talk as well. I know a lot of people straight away move into tips and tricks that you can do, but a lot of it is here. Okay. So what is your self-talk around it? If you start believing the cultural conditioning that what a 50-year-old is supposed to look like or what a 60-year-old is supposed to look and feel and act like and have the energy, then that's what you will imbibe. But if you actually believe that there's a lot more, if you have I'd say if you inside know that there's a lot more potential in terms of health, in terms of longevity inside you, that's how you will live. Three, I'd say have a huge bucket list. I've got such a massive bucket list, Jason. I'm telling you, it'll take 2 lifetimes. And that is why I've made it my goal to live to 150, because I know it's going to take me that long to experience everything, to do everything that I want, you know. Then if you actually get down to the tools of it, I would say, have a water-rich diet, which is very important. Water-rich diet simply means go seasonal, eat and drink based on where you are. So if you are sitting in India, in the northern part of India, you might want to go seasonal there. It's very warm, so you might want to have more fruit, more salads, more juices and things like that. And I'm saying vegetable juice, I mean not fruit juice. I'm not a big favor of that. But if you are, let's say, in the western part of India, right now it's about to start raining, so it's going to be different. So of course you're going to choose something different. If you are sitting in Canada, for example, where weather might be different, or if you're in Australia where it's colder, of course you'll choose different. So go seasonal, go local. That's very important. Have a water-rich diet. And fifth, movement is extremely important. It's non-negotiable for me. I have diverse kind of movements that I do, from swimming to yoga to strength training to mobility. So diversity in your training as well, that helps a lot. So I would say these 5 elements really help in focusing on longevity and age reversal as well.
Wow, fantastic, Varun. So that's really awesome, right? The kind of secrets that you shared when it comes to, like, I think one very important thing what I would want to pick up and implement personally for myself is movement, right? So there is movement, but like I don't consciously focus on doing it more. And I think that is something which I personally want to implement. I specifically after the lockdown, right? So once COVID happened, we were more of being in one place. I think that's personally for me. But I think after lockdown right now, I want to take more of that and improve with movement, which you shared. So thank you so much for that secret. And I really want to ask this question because
I'm gonna cut in there, Jason. Sure, I'm gonna add one more thing. It just came to my mind. Have you heard of these blue zones?
Blue zones? No.
Okay, so blue zones are these areas around the world where maximum number of people above 100 live. So this is Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy. So there's a bunch of places like that. There's one more place, it's called Rosetta in Pennsylvania, United States. Why I'm talking about this is because they flaunt, I would say they break the conventional rules of what healthy eating is. They eat fatty foods, they drink wine, red wine, but they all live to much longer age and they're much healthier because they've got something very special, which is the social fabric is very strong. So they're very active social lives. And that I found is an extremely important element nowadays. So if you've got an active social life, if you're part of a social fabric or a community, that also helps you in terms of your health and in terms of your longevity. It's one thing that it's something that people don't really pay attention to, but I find that it's a real game changer.
Fantastic, Varun. I think I never heard anybody share about having a social life can actually improve your longevity, right? So I think that's something a very beautiful thing. Like I think you mentioned some of the places like Okinawa in Japan. Like I've heard like they live more than 150 or 160 years, right, when it comes to their age. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Varun, for that back as well. Like I definitely have this question, right? Like how was that feeling when you lifted that trophy? Like we all were watching it, we were seeing it, like we watched it live on YouTube, but how was that feeling when you touched that trophy? And I think your wife came running and she hugged you as well, right? Like how was that feeling, Varun? Because I have this dream, like when I did Super Speaker last time, that I want to come in top 10 as well, and I want to experience that feeling. So how was it for you, Varun?
And give a tight hug to the winner of season 1, which is Warun.
Ladies and gentlemen, Super Speaker Season 1 winner, Integrative Nutrition and Lifestyle Coach. Let me present to you Warun Mehta. Jury, may I request you to come forward and do the honors, hand over the trophy, and to that moment that we have been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, let's present to you Super Speaker Season 1 winner, Warun Mehta. Jury, may you please come forward to hand over the check, please. And ladies and gentlemen, in the chat box, can you just type Warun, 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 Super Speaker Season 1 winner, the best speaker. Let's hear it from Warun Mehta. Yes.
I mean, just saying it's an honor would be a cliche. To be amongst you, my entire email inbox. I mean, when you have people like this, okay, then you don't need to worry about negativity around you, the world wars and things like that, because you know transformation happens right here. So I'm really honored to be part of this company. Thank you.
I have a surprise for Warun. Rajiv, if we may get close to Warun. And I want to see all the faces of all of you, okay? So come a little forward. Now, you know what? Someone needs to hold the trophy along with you. And again, this is live, right? I heard someone just have tears of joy when Warun Mehta was declared as the winner. So she has to be right here. We have your wife Vaishali right here for you. It's a little surprise. Vaishali, come on up right here. And everybody, can you give a round of applause to Vaishali? Okay, and as they go through this moment, let me tell you, we literally saw our judges fight for this particular moment.
Oh, it was amazing, Jason. You know, the way they structured it, the 3 rounds and everything. To be honest, I wasn't completely happy with my performance. I actually thought I left a lot on the table. But, you know, it is what it is, and I still won, and I'm very happy about it. But the way they announced it, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure that I'm going to win it because, you know, first they asked 8 of us to step forward one by one, as you saw. And I actually thought that they're going to be picking someone from there, from the top 8. And I was happy for them because I tell you, Jason, now that you know, we all became very good friends. Actually, so there was in the top 10, we never felt a spirit of competition. We even though we met that day, but we had spent such quality time. In fact, we met the night before, yeah. So we had spent such quality time with each other, and we were vibing with each other so well that it didn't really matter at the end of the day who won. But you know, when they structured it that way, the top 8 coming forward, and then they suddenly look at us and they're like, you know, here's the winner and the runner-up. Without announcing who's the winner and who's the runner-up, and it was a bit shocking. Like, what? Okay, wow, that was like that was blown over. And then they asked us to step forward, okay, and then they asked us this question: why do you think the other one should be the winner? So even at that point in time, I wasn't sure, because to be honest, you know, at backstage I could hear the others, and I thought they were brilliant, all of them. They were brilliant, and then when they announced the winner, I mean, it was an emotional, I mean, you saw, it was a very emotional moment because, you know, it's something that you're working for one whole year. And I know a lot of people dreamed about it, and I was the lucky one who got it. But, you know, I tell you, even if I look at top 250, I look at top 100, top 10, there were brilliant videos. There were brilliant performances, brilliant speeches. So I'm just honored to be lifting that trophy. But to answer your question, it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. I'd say one of the best moments in my life, if not the best moment in my life. And when I held it, Jason, it was very clear to me that, you know, it's exciting, but at the same time, the responsibility that it brings. the responsibility to serve, the responsibility to be a better person, because I knew the eyes are going to be on me now. And it's important that I hold that. If I'm holding that trophy, that I should be worthy of it as well, through my actions, through what I do. So I'm very, very mindful of that. What added to the flavor of it, what added to the emotion of it, was my wife. I had no idea she was backstage, and she was there. And it's amazing how the MC Divya just brought her on there, and it was just so emotional. And it was just, I would say, added to the emotion of the moment. But if there was one person I wanted to share that victory with at that moment, that was my wife, because she was my pillar of strength. She believed in me all the way. Jason, I'll tell you something amazing here. When season 1 began, okay, I must have put my video right at the last, because before that we all had COVID, so we couldn't really do that. And that Delta variant was pretty strong and stuff. So came out of it, realized that this super speaker is going on, and it's last date's coming up. So I think I might have put in my video on the last day. But I remember my wife, what she did was, so I've got a whiteboard next to my bed where my affirmations go, and I look at it every morning and every night. She actually wrote it down there. She wrote down my name, she wrote it down, Kyan Super Speaker Season 1 winner, Warun Mehta. And this was a year back, Jason. And we looked at it every single day. Okay, of course, there's a fair bit of work involved, the sacrifices involved, but imagine the power of manifestation. Imagine. So, every step of the way she's been with me. So it was a proud and emotional moment for me to share that victory with her.
Wow, I think that's very, very beautiful. Or you can see my voice as well. I think that's so amazing. Or I think when you shared your story, I could sense that what you shared, even when it came to that affirmation, right? That belief about doing it every single day, you seeing it every single day, and how that manifestation works is really, really beautiful. Warun, I could experience that job. But I think one thing what I would take back from what you shared right now was so important. I didn't see this perspective of winning, but what you shared so important after winning was taking responsibility. Because there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be watching you, but being mindful and being worthy for that trophy and being deserving for that trophy. I think that's a very beautiful point that I would take back from what you shared from your experience. I think that's a win for me right now in this entire podcast. That one line, what you said, in everything that we do, in every aspect, being mindful about it. I think that's something really beautiful and that I'm going to take back. So how does it feel, Warun? Every day you impacting, you seeing transformation. The other day when I had a call with you, you said, one of my patients is in a condition where I need to go see him. So I understand that. How does it feel when you see them come back, or how does it feel when you see them transform, when they go through their phase of difficulties and they come back and become a much more better, stronger human being? How does that feel for you, Warun?
Exactly the same as winning Super Speaker, because look, a life is not one life. When we're able to help people bounce back from the health challenges or even a very grave situation in their life, we're not just impacting their life, we're impacting their family's life, we're impacting their circle of influence, we're impacting all the lives that those people touch. And to see them come back and to see them enjoy life fully is marvelous. Because when we talk about, in the self-development world, when we talk about living to our potential, that is just half truth. Because living to your potential, you can work on your mindset. But if your body's not supporting you, there's no living to your potential. You can only do so much with your mindset. But at the same time, if you've got a strong body, healthy body, it will house a strong mind in there. You will have a strong mindset there. That is why if you ever notice, lift some weights, do some strength training, and suddenly you'll gain more fortitude. You'll be like, what? Challenges don't matter to me. Let them come. I'll overcome them. But at the same time, if your physiology is poor, even tiny little challenges will bog you down. So I understand the importance, because I've experienced that. I understand the importance in the lives of those people. That, one is my mission to help them to alleviate their suffering, or to shorten their learning curve, or to even shorten their pain period. because I've experienced that for extended periods of time, and no one should experience that, primarily because 95% of it is avoidable. Jason, that's the tragedy of it. 95% of it is avoidable. We live in a world that is mired with confusion, with myths. Having all this knowledge around, having all this information around nutrition, fitness, lifestyle changes, supplementation, whatever it takes, and yet people are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And unfortunately, that's going to keep happening because we don't understand the underlying truths. We don't understand the underlying principles. And social media today, and all the television today, is exacerbating the situation. So it's not that everything is bad. It's not that all influences are bad. But when, there's no one size fits all, by the way. So, when we start applying something that's working for a 20-year-old to a 50-year-old body, it doesn't work. Because, not only is the age factor, even sometimes when a 25-year-old is applying something to their body and people see the body transformation happening and they start doing it themselves, again, it doesn't work because everyone has a different health history. Everyone has different microbiome. Everyone has different genetics. Everyone has different, a medical history for that matter, medications they're taking in their lives. So these are just some of the factors. And in this industry, in the health and wellness industry, there is absolutely no one size fits all. In investment, you can do that. These are principles that can work. In other aspects, in mindset, in business growth, you can do that. But in health, barring some universal principles, rest of it all is by individuality.
Got it. Fantastic, Varun. I think that's a really, really important lesson for a lot of us to learn and take it like, even though, like as you said, this information is available, but not many of us, number one, know about it, or even if we know about it, we do not know how to implement it. I think these are the two things that you brought out. So yes, fantastic, Varun, as you were sharing about the various different challenges that when it comes to health, right? What we're missing on the information is vastly available, but still we're not being able to use it. So I have this final question, Varun, like, what would be your message to the people, especially after post-pandemic? Because for most people, pandemic was as a time where I think fear has risen a lot. Like they feel like this might come to me, or I might lose my life right now, or so it has become like that. So what would you share for people who are in that stage where they're really fearful about what's going to happen for them? What would be your message to them, Varun?
Okay, great question, Jason. I'd say, first of all, I empathize with people who've suffered or who've lost one of their loved ones. And I know it's a big pain and a big loss, and there's no coming back from that. I totally get that. However, having said that, the way we have responded, the way the world has responded to it has been panic. Panic and fear creates an internal biochemistry of fear. Okay. And that causes more damage than any actual virus. I know what I'm saying might sound as heresy, but that's a fact. Having been in this industry for the last 12 years, I know how the mind works around when it comes to health. What I want people to take away is to understand that the body is very wise. See, your mind is only as old as you are. For me, it's 49 years old. For you, however old you are, Jason, the mind is as old as we are, in this body. But the body, we're not just talking about this body that was born, but this body is ancestral. It's hundreds of thousands of years old, because the memory in the body, in our DNA, in our genetics, in our genes, that's being passed on is there. We have an instinctual memory going on, and it's been there for hundreds of thousands of years. And that is how evolution happens, right? So if you trust in the wisdom of the body, it will take care of you. You just have to provide the right conditions. Remember, no medication, no vaccination, nothing heals. Your body heals. Your body just needs the right conditions. Sometimes it can come through external interventions like that, but those interventions should only be applied to extreme conditions. We should allow our bodies to be in such beautiful conditions that it does not take us to an extreme situation. There have been pandemics before. There have been many things that have come before as well. And that is how we've developed immunity over time. That is how we develop antibodies over time. If you trust in the wisdom of the body, provide the right conditions that I talk about. And for everyone who's interested to know more about it, I've got a webinar coming up this Sunday at 6 p.m. Jason can share the link for it and you can sign up. It's absolutely free. So come, learn more about it, learn more about your body, learn more about the wisdom of your body, and stop fearing when it comes to your health. Stop panicking when it comes to your health, because your body knows. Your body, just like you get injured, right? And body bounces back. We get mental health issues and the mind and the brain bounces back. Body has that kind of resilience. All you have to do is to build in that resilience and vitality. Allow the body to do its work. Okay? And there are many, many ways to do that. There are many tools to do that. There are many mindset and strategies to do that. And I'm here to help you learn more about it.
Fantastic, Warun. Like, I think for me, the biggest takeaway from right now what you shared was everything is possible with healing, but that right conditions for the body is so important. If it's in the right conditions, the healing process will happen with that. As you said, the right tools, the right possibilities are already there. So that's really
something like, Jason, something like, I'll give an example.
Sure.
It's like you've got a fertile soil, right?
Correct.
Like if you go to Western Ghats, right? That's very fertile soil.
Right.
You pop in any kind of seeds, nature will take care. If you pop in any kind of seeds in the soil, nature will take care of itself. There'll be sunlight, there'll be water, the soil has enough nutrients, and life will grow, plants will grow. At the same time, if you take those seeds and plant them in a desert, nothing will grow.
Correct.
Primarily because the conditions are not conducive to that growth. So either through your lifestyle choices, through your environmental choices, if you can create barren conditions or fertile conditions. So it's the choice is entirely yours.
Yes, I think that was a very beautiful example that you gave about how those choices we make can either lead to a barren land or to a fertile soil, right? So that's a very beautiful example, Varun. And so it's been really a great pleasure, Varun, I think, interacting with you. And definitely, as you shared about your webinar, I'll be sharing that link as well. But I know for sure once people go through this podcast or they watch it anytime in future, they would want to connect with you. So how should they connect with you? Do you have a website or do you have a social media? Where can they connect with you? If they want to take personal coaching, what should they do so that they can all get connected with you and learn? Like, I would really be happy if somebody comes tomorrow and shares that, okay, I watched their podcast and I got connected to Varun and my life changed. I think that would be really beautiful. So how can they get connected to you, Varun?
Yes, Jason. So one way is, of course, my website, which is warunmehta.com with a W. And then Instagram is the Warun Mehta. And on Facebook, just my name, Warun Mehta. So just, look for me there, send me a message, say hi, let's get connected. And I'm here to help you any which way I can.
Yes, fantastic. So thank you so much, Varun. And I'll also be sharing the links of your social media handles in the description just below the video. So those of you who want to get connected with Varun, you can definitely get connected with him on his website or as well as his social media handles, right? So how was your experience on the show, Varun? Like, I definitely want to know. And how was it interacting? Like, I really had a great time. I think I learned a lot of things when it comes to health. Like, I see different perspectives right now than what I was seeing just a while before. So how was your experience, Varun?
Great connecting, Jason. Your questions are very insightful. I found them much deeper than the usual surface level questions that I get. And the other thing is, it's very exciting to see what you guys are doing. As college kids, you're doing phenomenal work. You're bringing out great knowledge to the world. You're experiencing your pain points and helping other people come out with their pain so that they can heal. And you're doing fantastic work there, Jason. So kudos and more power to you. And I'm here to help you out anytime you want.
Thank you so much, Varun. I think that's a really amazing thing as you shared. And as I shared in the start as well, I'm really grateful for your time. Like, I'm very grateful that you said yes to the show. So thank you so much. And definitely, I do not know when, but I would like to meet you live once and get connected because I believe that when I was seeing your crewing experience, when I was seeing Ketan sir crewing, when I was seeing you crewing, like, I said, okay, I want to go for TTT. I want to train the trainer. I want to experience Blair seeing you live, right? And one day, if possible, I want to meet all of you all also live, and understand. Like, I really want to meet you live. Like, your energy is like wow. So I really love that. Like, because for me, one thing that I've learned and seen with mostly successful people is that aura, like beautiful. Like, very few people have this thing, honestly. But what I see is that being grounded even after growing, and that is something that I personally see in you today, and that's one quality that I admire. And thank you so much once again, Warun, for coming on the show. I'm like really happy, and it's been a pleasure to connect with you, and definitely looking forward to connect with you more again in the future. So thank you so much once again, Warun.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks for, I really look forward to meeting you as well one day. And I highly recommend attending Train the Trainer. It will definitely transform you. It's unlike any other online training that you will do. It's so immersive and it's fun. It's very high energy, and you learn from the best of the best in there out there. And it will really change the way you think about training and coaching industry as we go forward.
Yes, thank you so much, Warun. And as I said, that's like one thing definitely on my bucket list. So once again, thank you so much, Warun, for being on the show. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching it all the way till here. We're going to come up with a lot more episodes, lot more stories, lot more secrets like this to help you become that superhero. All right. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching it all the way to the end. Thank you so much.